Hello there. It's Friday, March 2nd, 2018, 5 p.m. in Washington, D.C. I'm Anya Parampil. You're watching RT America. We start the news with the U.S. continuing to supply lethal military aid to Ukraine. On Thursday, the Trump administration approved the sale of 210 anti-tank missiles to Kiev. The move comes as the media in Washington are alarmed at what they see as Russian President Putin's aggressive State of the Nation speech on Thursday. So to discuss the mounting strategic tension in Eastern Europe, we are joined now by Brian Becker, coordinator with the Anti-War Answer Coalition. Brian, the corporate media here has predictably reacted to President Putin's speech by claiming he was threatening the United States with a nuclear arms race and even with a strike. What is your read on his main message?
His main message, and you can see it quite clearly, is that the Russian government has taken predictably the countermeasures to the U.S. abandoning the anti-ballistic missile treaty, which the United States signed with the Soviet Union in the early 1970s and which the United States withdrew from in 2002. That's where things froze, and that was 15 years ago. We now see the new U.S. Nuclear Posture Review, the U.S. Nuclear Strategic Document, is posing the possibility of major power confrontation with the U.S. and Russia, or the U.S. and China, while the United States has decided to ring Russia with anti-missile defense shields. That's in Lithuania, in Poland, in Romania. Clearly, the U.S. is preparing for a possible war with Russia. It seems like madness. It is madness, but nonetheless, that's where it's going. What Russia and what Putin said yesterday is, guess what? You've abandoned a missile defense shield, but we have countermeasures, and in particular this new technology, this new weapon that can beat your missile defense shield, so don't believe that you can have first strike supremacy without retaliation.
A spokesperson for the Defense Department here in Washington told reporters, quote, "We're not surprised by Putin's statements, and the American people should rest assured that we are fully prepared." Does the media's reaction to this speech serve the interests of the Pentagon?
The U.S. media reaction to this speech is an abomination. The New York Times, front page, 3-column width. It's a giant picture. The photographer actually must have gotten on the floor at the State of the Nation address and took a picture straight up into the Jumbotron so that Putin looks like this Orwellian monster, and next to it a headline that says, "Putin promised that Russia has an invincible weapon." Is it really that scary? No, but the U.S. media is treating this as if Russia has virtually declared war or preparation for war with the United States, when in fact what we're doing is having reality turned upside down. The Nuclear Posture Review says that the United States is preparing for a major war, possibly with Russia. What should Russia do? Sit by and wait? Of course not.
Also announced yesterday, the State Department says it's approved the sale of $47 million worth of anti-tank missiles to the Ukrainian government. How do actions like this fit into a discussion about Putin's speech?
Yeah, selling major, and these are advanced weapons, to Ukraine for possible combat against people in the eastern and southern part of Ukraine can only be perceived by Russia, by Putin, by whatever government, whoever it was in Russia, to be a grave and existential threat. I mean, this is taking place on Russia's border. Ukraine was the second biggest Soviet republic. It was Russia's historic ally. NATO is taking over Ukraine, now selling Ukraine weapons that can be used against Russia. So, of course, this is upping the ante. And at the same time, the Trump administration just announced the extension of new sanctions against Russia for 1 more year as a consequence of the struggle in Ukraine. But this is a violation of the Minsk agreement. This is an escalation. It's gratuitous. It shows if the Russians thought, or if people thought the Russians thought, that Trump was going to be easier on Russia than Obama, they have another thing coming.
Right, but it should also maybe wake up the public and the media into thinking, oh, maybe Trump isn't Putin's puppet after all, though we've been lambasted with Russiagate.
It would be a very strange choice of a puppet who's escalating a confrontation on your border, imposing new sanctions, and sending advanced weaponry to people who want to fight you.
Yes, you would think that did some damage to the Russiagate narrative. Unfortunately, it hasn't yet. Brian Becker, always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.